Well, look at you, hot stuff. Come to help the elderly. Oh, what a good girl you are. And here I was, just about to burn this whole blasted place to the ground myself. Now, here's a little warm-up for ya. Let's burn it all down. What say you, dearie? We'll turn that flicker in your step into a roaring flame. What say we make a cosy little fire, then put all our enemies in it? Looks like we've got a properly hot night ahead of us. Everything's going to be covered in soot by the time we're through. Don't let the fire in your heart sputter out, all right? Oh, let's have a look and get you good and fired up again, dearie. All right, hot stuff. We're turning up the temperature to get things roaring then. Been far too long since we incinerated stuff together, hasn't it? Sometimes you just have to burn everything to the ground and go from there, hot stuff. Sure, everything's rotten, but between us girls, I've not felt this alive in some time. They say never to play with fire, dearie, but you have my permission to go right ahead. Time to turn the heat up to full blast, isn't that right, dearie? Got another little warm-up for you right here, hot stuff. Must be cold down in your whereabouts, but not for long. I'm here again, dearie, so cozy up as we're about to have a real blast. This old flame can never be put out, and don't you forget it, dearie. Oh, if I could only roast more of our blasted enemies myself. Warmest wishes to you, dearie, and a little something extra on the side. Some evening, mayhaps you'll settle down to a nice, comfortable life, but oh, not tonight. Sacrifices sometimes must be made, dearie. So round 'em up and put 'em to the flame. We're in for a hot one this evening, oh, I can already tell. You burn proper hot even without my aid, but with it, What's cooking this eve, dearie? Whatever we damn well please, that's what. Well, now I reckon it's time to fan the flames a bit, isn't it then? I've been cooking up a little something special just for you, hot stuff. Is something burning over there, dearie? Well, it's about to be. Let's keep that everlasting flame alive and well. What say you, hot stuff? Well, at least we're living in exciting times, I'll give us that. What say we add a little fuel to this fire we got going, why don't we? For every candle that you light, for every cauldron that you boil, that's my flame working its own magic for you, dearie. So you just think of me whenever the sparks fly. Funny thing about flame, dearie, it's warm and pretty, isn't it? But it can kill you in a couple of licks. Really makes you think. And really makes you burn to a crisp, if you're not careful. Yeah, this mountain top. Gave up my seat here, you know. Wanted to see the world, not my blasted sisters every day. But now I'm stuck here with a lot of them. Burns me right up, even to think about. Poor thing, been all cooped up inside that underworld, haven't you? There's a whole great world to see out there once your business is done. Do let me know, I can suggest some wondrous spots not far from here. Your dad and I got on all right, comparatively speaking, I suppose. After we put the Titans in their place, though, he went down into your underworld and I drifted away like a spark from a flame. Oh, I was something in my glory days. Lots of suitors. I was a crack shot with a rail of adamant. You heard of it? Monstrous thing. Gave it up. Gave up warring altogether. Until now, apparently. I like a girl who's ready to gird up her loins, get her hands dirty and the like. Too many just waiting for someone to clean their messes for 'em, blast it all. Speaking of, why don't you go and do some blasting for me, eh? So, you're a bit of a witch, are you? Well, not I. Stuck with this family already, don't see why I'd want another one. But I understand the appeal, I suppose. Plenty of candles and fire to it, isn't there? Ah, the passions of youth. I've smouldered away, not much of a feast for the eyes at this point. Fine. But you, still just a kindling. Though we'll make an inferno of you yet. You should have seen it, dearie, when we brought old Kronos down. Took 6 of us at least, but we got him. Little wonder he's all sore about it still. We'll just have to dispose of him more thoroughly. Cremation, mayhaps. Been on your own all this time, haven't you? Well, might be you're better off. Wish I never knew my blasted dad and mum. They taught me nothing I couldn't have learned better on my own. Know what this family's problem is, dearie? It's just too big. The others act as though they pity me. Poor childless Hestia, they say. But they all long for their childless days. I can see it in their eyes. I almost pity you, dearie, all swept up in our affairs. You don't know how hard I've tried to avoid it myself. Must we always have to take a blasted side in everything? But we gods, we just love a good fight. Well, look at you, hot stuff. You made it to the surface after all. I figured that you might. It's maybe even colder here than down below, but that, at least, we can fix right away, I think. Mortals go from worshipping the flame to fearing it. As well they ought. The hearth fires of every home there in that wretched city you reside in, all of them burned out. Not that I'm mad, oh no. Where in those bloody depths are you, dearie? Underneath the sea? It's hard to get a blaze a-roaring when there's water all about, but if you can handle the pressure down there, I can bring the heat. Our young Queen Hera, she'd always say one ought to keep her feelings bottled up and carefully in check. Look where that attitude got her. I say, let loose your temper and your rage. Let it all out. Poor little sister Demeter, she bore but one child, a girl, dearie. Persephone, your mum. And even still that child caused her at least as much grief as joy. It's not your mum's fault, mind. She was a lovely one, with hair like yours. You're used to living in darkness, aren't you? Up here, darkness is widely feared. Even in the warmth of my firelight, they jump at shadows, mortals, and even gods sometimes. They trust their weak eyes overmuch, I think. We ought to have been kinder to mortals, really. Then Kronos would have had a harder time compelling the dead to rise against us. I've always tried to look after the living, but our family's best known for looking after ourselves. The mortals used to make us many offerings, giving up their own food and the like. They always praised me first among the gods, for it's my fire they used when making sacrifice. It was very sweet. Got yourself some cinder there, don't you? Not a flashy substance, but it's strong, good source of flame. Most gods and mortals only care for shiny baubles and the like, but some of you witches rather know your stuff. Even I'll admit the quaint crackle of the hearth just doesn't always do the job. Sometimes what we need is a great big conflagration, an inferno of the highest order. How about one, then? The hearth is at the centre of the mortal household, dearie, keeping my flames comfortably in place. But I can make a wildfire in a snap, and when I get angry, that's exactly what I do. You've got Selene's moonlight shine on you, eh? I'll not deny it has a certain power and allure, but such a cold and distant light next to a scorching flame? There's no comparison. Already had a brush with Sister Hera, have you now? She's more accustomed to attending youngsters such as you, but then again she's got her own to deal with. So why not stick with me? Oh, the mighty ruler of Olympus gave to you a bit of his thunderous power, did he now? Well, that's not going to take you very far at all, so let me set you up with a little extra firepower here. Blessed already by the mighty god of earth and sea, are you? Poseidon's power and my own don't often mix, but then again, neither do he and I. Of that you can be certain there, dearie. Why, the flamboyant god of light has put a little sparkle on you, hasn't he? Shines like the sun, Apollo does, oh sure. But there's more than one way to light up a place, you know. You bear the gift of Aphrodite, don't you there? You know, she's much, much older than she looks. Appearances are everything to her. Whilst, as for me, I'm about hotness of a different sort. You've got a real spring in your step, if I'm not mistaken, dearie. The handiwork of swiftest Hermes, I suppose. You know what else moves awful quick? Here, let me give you a little hint. I'm pleased to know you and Hephaestus get along. That one, he's often on his own, as though my flames are all the company he needs. He's not the worst of sorts as we gods go. Well, look at you, making me offerings. Such hospitality. And while I throw most customs to the flames, the old exchange of gifts is one that I don't mind. So here, something from me. Come on now, I've nothing much to teach. You seem a recluse, much the same as I, besides, although a looker still. But it's been nice to have made your acquaintance. Why, thank you for that, dearie. You're too kind. Mortals were so convinced I only liked burnt offerings, they never gave me good stuff such as this. Oh, dearie, you look terrible. What happened to you there? Well, maybe you can sweat it out or something. Would that I could cauterize your wounds. Oh, you've had more than a scrape or two there, haven't you? Oh, such is life. Bite down and press on through. That's how we end up in a better spot. You had a bad run-in with that wretched heiress on your way here, eh? Just great to know that Strife herself is up against us now, and got her grubby little fingers on my rail of adamant. I ought to have kept the thing. We've burned bright on Olympus I don't know how long already, dearie. Suppose our time has come and gone. Mayhaps we're more like mortals than we care to admit. Well, whatever doom awaits, I welcome it. You really are an odd one, hot stuff. At first I thought you were a little stuck up, much like some others whom I happen to know only too well. But you truly are committed to righting this wrong from before your time, aren't you? We've been holding our own up here against that Kronos and his forces, but there's something going on. Oh, I can feel it. Whatever the Titan thinks he has in store, however, I suspect that it can burn. Why, hello, dearie. Getting ready for your next excursion there? You're just a glowing ember for the moment, so how about we get you good and fired up? Oh, there she is. Aunt Hestia's arrived. What's cooking? Ha, fine. All right. Well, isn't that sweet? How wonderful. Ah, thank you. Well now. Oh ho ho. Oh my. From me to you. Here's a little something. Who do you take me for? I don't take kindly to such acts. Trifle with me and you'll get burned. Just earlier I felt the strangest urge to seek you out, dearie. Almost as though it wasn't even me deciding it. Messing with eldritch forces or some such. Well, if you want to gaze into the cold abyss, I'll keep you nice and warm. Guess what, hot stuff? Your great aunt's back again to turn your foes to soot. Best way to make it so they never bother you again, though tidying up can be a bit of a pain. My frosty little sister Demeter has been in touch already, I can tell. Your Nan fancies herself the eldest of Olympus, she does. Only true because I'm usually not here. Mayhap she left you cold. Well, not to worry, I have just the remedy. Old Hecate's your teacher, is that it? Known her since I was probably your age. Right proper dame. Been far too long since last we saw each other, come to think. What can you do? She hates everybody, I hate everybody. You got my everlasting ember, haven't you? Can faintly see its flicker even here. Your way of signalling to your great auntie Hestia and all the rest that you are hankering for boons with just a little bit of spice. You're not supposed to be up here, are you? Don't think your dad's permitted back up top, at least. But you're a witch. Must be you've got your cures for everything under the sun. Don't let us keep on jerking you around, all right? First we got you going after Kronos, now we got you coming here to our defence. Blast. Though just in case nobody said it yet, we really do appreciate the help. What's that you got there? Ignium, is it? Reminds me of those twin torches that old Hecate would always have with her. If these are anything like those, they'll never sputter out. But just in case, we'll keep them nice and hot. Your dad and I, we've got a lot in common, I suppose. The two not technically Olympians. At least I get to visit when I want, whereas poor Hades, soon as he got saddled with the underworld, they never counted him among their kind again. You made it all the way down to the Morning Fields before? A horrid place, or so I hear, and covered in dry brush far as the eye can see. Well, next time you're there, you burn your way on through. Hear me, hot stuff? The others, each in their own way, they do like when mortals make them subjects in their tales and songs. Well, not I. In that regard, I think you underworld gods are in the right. Best keep our business to our own damn selves. They're saying that you gave him one from all of us. Kronos, that is. A right proper old-fashioned beating, that is. Must have felt all warm and cosy, didn't it? Makes you want to do it again and again. You got that bloody Titan, didn't you? Don't feel too bad you couldn't end him altogether, not like any of the rest of us were able to, as you can plainly see. Instead, mayhaps go kick him while he's down. Happy to help with that. Heard you plucked that nasty heiress from the sky. Well, serves her right, though we could never make her stay away for good. To think she's one of Nix's many pups. Squeeze out a big litter like that, you're liable to get a runt. Now don't go wandering into the dark without a proper light. And I don't mean the kind Apollo's offering, although mayhaps I'd settle for the moon. Anyhow, no matter, here. Think you can slip right out of there this late without my noticing? Well, typically you can, but not this time. And your punishment is a fine selection of hearth-warming boons. You must live somewhere round those parts, don't you, dearie? Well, since it seems a little cold out there tonight, why don't we make some temperature adjustments here? So, headed up this way again. Won't be hearing any arguments from me. Not sure you can hear me at all down there, come to think. Anyhow, let's get you all warmed up. You must have had an excess of those golden coins that Kronos strewed across the land. To tempt the greediest of mortals, I suppose. Or the poorest, not for me to judge. That boatman's good at taking messages, isn't he? Almost like taking corpses down into the underworld like he used to. Nothing to do for those these days. Except to burn. You really have to pay that Charon character in these situations. What sort of daft system is that? What, no blessings for the poor? Doesn't seem fair at all. My blessing made it all that way on just a rickety old wooden ferry boat. Must be a litany of fire safety hazards there, although plenty of water near with which to put them out. Has old Hecate not taught you to respect the elderly a little more than that? Well, here's a quick lesson for you. Won't do for all the rest taking old Hestia for a pushover in matters such as this. So I've got to burn you up a bit. Don't want my blessings while they're good and hot, do you? Then this ought to warm you up in the meantime. Not really mad at you, dearie, but I don't have the energy right now to go against the daft traditions that we have. Hey, a right good burn like that deserves another. Only fair, don't you agree, hot stuff? Just look at the bickering, sorry mess we've become. But we've all got to pull our weight, don't we? Here I was trying to lend a helping hand, but no, somebody's always getting in my way. Well, I won't have it. Come on now, even mortals know it's best to honour dear old Hestia first and foremost when it comes to such things. Gave up the boon of Hestia, did you? Well then, how about a quick reminder of the proper way to make a sacrifice? Try as I might, I cannot help feeling a little miffed at that, and I am not someone to simply let it slide. That there is what I call the first degree, like letting you off with a little warning. I like you, dearie, so I'm not going to turn you to ash this time, but later down the line, no guarantees. So you got yourself a slap on the wrist. I recommend applying ice and ointment every now and then. Hey, you're all right, and I am now all right, so I suppose that everything's all right. Fine, no need to get all hot and bothered for too long about this sort of thing. So let's just carry on. Got just a little steamed back there, but I am back to my usual quite irritable self, thank you. Well, there we go again. You know they take me for the calm and peaceful one around here. Play with fire and you get yourself burned. It's just as simple as that, unless I say otherwise. All right, let's just cool off a bit before these flames of mine get way out of control. I like a lass who knows how to snap back. Don't ever let anybody up here push you around. In olden days, I never took strapping young Zeus here for the marrying type and was none too pleased when he picked my poor sister Hera for the job. But you've been a right good husband to her, haven't you, Zeus? Oh, why, dearest Zeus, perish the thought that I would ever leave again. You've given me such a warm welcome, after all, having removed my blasted seat only to put it back. Though, let's not worry hot stuff here with all of that. Not always big on family business, though I take exception for my little sis. She, of all goddesses, has to put up with the most around here, and that's not even counting all this Kronos stuff. How do you manage it, O Queen? Because respectfully, you just don't know what's good for you, O Queen. Sometimes it's ones can't bring themselves to ask for help that need it most. Now why don't we set a proper example for the latest unceremonious addition to our family? Take our blessings, but don't follow our examples, what I say, dearie. A case in point's fish-faced Poseidon over here. Always trying hard to make a splash, never caring much who ends up getting wet. That about right, you big oaf? You best be glad I'm here, you lug, lest I leave all of you again to fend for your own damn selves. You won't be putting Kronos back into the ground without me, anyhow. That goes for you too, hot stuff. All right, dearie, let's get a real fire going. No more fussing about merely with sparks and such. Oh, Apollo, get your buttocks over here right now, 'cause I could use a light. Oh, shut it, golden boy, we don't have time for pageantry. Instead, how about we show your wee cousin there how we can light up the night? Won't do for her to wander in the dark. Would you believe it, hot stuff? I have on good authority that somebody around here has laid a claim to being eldest of Olympus. Or Demeter, care to explain that one? And you, Demeter, you've not changed at all. None of you have. It's why you're in a heap of trouble now. Or we, I ought to say. Good thing your grandkids coming to our rescue. Come on, up to it, hot stuff, while you still got your looks. Not like Aphrodite here is going to let you hold to them forever. She doesn't care for competition. You can trust me on that. Careful with that line of reasoning there, Aphrodite. You don't have much inner beauty to speak of, and your outer beauty I can melt off in a snap. And growing all those lustrous tresses back would take a while by my reckoning. If there's one thing I learned from my strong-armed nephew here, dearie, it's that you always have to strike while the iron's still hot. Now come on, hop to it, Hephaestus, my lad. Well, that's because I like it here, my lad. In spite of all the clanging and whatnot, it's peaceful, more or less. And you're not such bad company to keep. Though, why don't we show your cousin what we can cobble up together? No use buttering me up, you know. What, you think I'm going to withhold the best I've got unless you pay me some nice compliment? I can be petty, sure, but not that petty. What happened to those flames of yours, now shining almost like the break of dawn? Mayhaps that rosy-fingered Eos has decided to pitch in, much as we'd hate to interrupt her from the one thing on her schedule each day. Oh, looks to me like you've been through a lot. Well, if you find yourself in a bad place, you just push on through. Or go scorched earth on everything around you if you must. Oh, dearie, if you're all banged up from head to toe like this, then you're in no shape for the next stage of our little firefight. So pull yourself together, eh? What, that ferryman having a fire sale there? Don't want you paying an exorbitant amount, not that there ought to be a price on blessings anyhow. Having my boon just stuffed into some unmarked sack, I swear. Halfway surprised it didn't burn right through. Sometimes it isn't easy getting hold of you, you know. Don't play with fire if you know what's good for you. I'm long since done being a pushover, dearie. Looks like I cooked you for a bit too long, hot stuff. Sure? There. Heat it up. Fine. Easy. Ready. Smart girl. Fine choice. Into the fire. Let's cook. Coming in hot. Surprise! Hello, hot stuff. Dearie. So it was Artemis who sniffed you out, was it? Seems like an awful big coincidence. But then with gods, these things, they happen all the time. I'll say I'm glad she found you when she did. Don't know how you got so far so quick tonight, hot stuff. But you're not going any farther till you're properly prepared. Got to bring plenty of heat where you're going. Something about this night gives me the proper chills, hot stuff. It's like the darkness is so thick it suffocates. And problem is, you can't have fire without air. Careful, all right? We don't quite know what Kronos has been cooking up for us, but we're all thinking that his little recent skirmishes against our mountainside are not the brunt of it. Not keen here to find out. I'm sensing something different in you there, dearie. It's like a divine mark of ours, but it's most certainly not anybody's here. It's positively ancient, even next to me. Got some old friends that we don't know about. Someday I'd like to see the river Phlegathon you've got down in the underworld. A river full of flame. Tried making something like that here on our side, but it sent mortals panicking, and the gods didn't care much for it either. The city of Ephyra burns, but it's not entirely my fault. Flames are like a tool, I suppose. One of those things requiring precaution on one's part. Lose something in a fire? Sorry, can't help you with that. Oh, while you're up here, do watch out for Heracles. Big, burly sort of man. One of the best we've got, but sometimes gives the sense that he's become unhappy with his job. How that is possible, though, is beyond my ken. You had it out with Polyphemus, so I hear. Recall distinctly how he lost his eye. Let's say Flame played a vital part and leave it there. Almost felt sorry for the lad, but he's been getting by. And getting in your way. You're loaded up with cinder, aren't you? That much of it I can detect from here, a special kind from torches I know well. Some remnants of your bouts with Hecate? You can't really be fighting. Probably just your nightly exercise. We're not too worried here right now, what with Athena holding down the fort. She can be a little much if you two ever meet, but out of everybody here, she'd be the first I'd pick to watch my back.